Hi, my name is Martina Viglietti. I'm an actress. I'm from Argentina, but I live now in Stockholm, in Sweden. And I have done a master in acting in the University of Arts here in this city. And I have studied before, of course, in Argentina. I worked a little bit with journalism before as well. And and I have done these residencies in theatre in Palm. So I left Argentina in 2018 and I went to Australia, where I worked both inside the dance industry and the theatre world. And I worked in a theatre in Melbourne, in La Mama, and there it was my first time doing an exchange, like a real exchange in terms of like working with other people in the same, area I'm interested in and the same area I studied, but in another culture. And I think it was super interesting. It was not only Australians that I met, but I met Italians, I met people from Germany and the people from India, and it was super different. And I think that what you can get with like the situation of working together with others is not the same as traveling, or it's not the same as studying abroad. It's something else, because you really have to solve something together in order to have an outcome, like a theatre play or a choreography or whatever. And I think the way the working ways are so different, and it's not that there is one good way and another bad way. It's just like the combination of that mixture. I don't know how to say it, but I mean, like, there is new ways coming up from the mixture of two ways of working, and I think that is very, very, I think I love that, and that's why I kept on moving around the world, trying to see what else I could find and what other styles I could find. Again, not only studying that also, but also working, like how you solve things, how stressful things become. I think in Argentina, for example, in theater, there are moments of a lot of stress, and that can lead some desperation. And in Australia, everything was calm. We were in the general rehearsal before the opening night, and no one was like, as I was when I was in Argentina. So that was a learning. I don't know, it's different. And here in Sweden, I also noticed that for taking decisions, there are a lot of meetings and there are a lot of agreements. And sometimes it makes me feel uncomfortable, because I come from a place where we all say what we think straight away without waiting our turn, for example. I think you can grab things from different places. And I am still me, of course. It's not that you have to be someone else if you are in another environment, but you are also learning new stuff. And I feel like I'm a different person than the one I was when I was not working internationally. I think there were mainly two things. One thing is to meet more people. Like, it's very basic, but it's something that we really need to get to know more artists around, in this case, Europe, and to really find out about our possibilities here. Like, I'm an emerging artist in Europe, and in Stockholm I'm new, and I feel like to meet others that are in the same situation is super important, to help each other, to learn from each other, and so on. And also it's especially important in these times that we have a lot of interdisciplinary artistic things. So it's not the same than just meeting with, in my case, actors, that we are more or less from the same little world, but it's also nice to open it up to musicians, directors, scenographers, and a lot of different people that work, like a lot of people with technology, for example, that are really good with cameras, I don't know. And you never know when you're going to need those contacts and when you're going to be able to help them also if you find out about something. I don't know. It sounds very basic, but it's so important. Like, it's the network in the artistic world, and to expand that beyond borders. I mean, it shouldn't be only in the country we are living in, it can be even broader. So I think that's one thing. And the other thing I learned is that you can do theater without really knowing what you're going to do. I mean, as long as you are going to put your body in the space, and your mind and your time and your willingness of like creating something with others, and with others that you don't know, which is something that you might think, okay, no, I have to know the people I'm going to work with. No, maybe you just have to be in the same space, you just have to be enthusiastic, and you will make something out of it, and something that is meaningful and something that is interesting, as long as you have the commitment to do that. And I feel like sometimes we think maybe too much about, okay, we have to have a great idea, and no, maybe the idea will come after we start working. And I think that's what we can prove with this, that we made 3 performances in the 3 different residencies. Of course, maybe not the best performances in the world, but we can build something from there. And that was just with us coming the first day without knowing what we were going to do, without knowing what we were going to do. So that is something that it really made me think. Yeah. So the first residency I did with Theatre in Palm was like an online one. So we were here in Sweden and we were working with people from Spain and Italy in a group, and then there were other groups, and we show each other what we have done at the end of the week. And the second residency was like a hybrid residency. So we had a part that we were working with people from Finland and from Greece. We were in Sweden and we were online, but then a part of our group went to Finland, a part of our group went to Greece. I was that lucky person that got the sun. And then we went there for another week and we worked with what we have done before. So it was like half digital, half non-digital, and we got to meet people from another country and work with them in real life, which was super interesting. And then we showed the show, we can call it, online. And then the third residency, it was in Stockholm, in Sweden, and we worked 5 artists in a project, and the idea was to create something in 2 weeks, so we had more time and we had a theatrical space, like conventional theater. And then we had the opportunity to show it to an audience, and we also got the beautiful opportunity of like the chance to show it in the Fringe, like Stockholm Fringe Festival, which is an event that is super important here in Stockholm. So we felt that we were not only exploring stuff and we were not only creating things just for us. It was more like, okay, we have a purpose, we have a performance to do, and we had to make a performance out of nothing in 2 weeks. It was even less days. I think it was like in total we counted that we worked 7 days and we made a performance in the Fringe Festival. So I think that extra energy that gives you like this thing of like, okay, I have a show, I have an audience that is waiting for me to give them something. It makes things go in a different way. So I think it was like a perfect evolution, I would say, from the digital residency to the real life residency, where we used things we have learned in another experiences, but in order to make a show. I would say that the most important thing is to stay connected. I mean, it's what I already said before, but it's so important. You need to meet more people, and you need to meet more people in order to learn more for yourself and in order to have more opportunities. And I think you can do that through, of course, the formal education, university or courses you might find, but also through institutions that are there, like this Theatre in Palm thing. I found out about this because I heard about Intercult, that is an institution that works with culture in Sweden. So you really have to get in touch with people that are working in this artistic world, that is not only the theatres or the traditional places, but also other spaces. And I think it is important to think, and I say this to myself because I haven't solved it, but I mean, it's important to think that we can do things without waiting for us to be called, and to try to make our own. And I know it's hard, and I know it's like sometimes a little bit bureaucratic, and I come from Argentina, which is a country that has a lot of theatre. I think they have more theatre spaces in Buenos Aires than in New York or something like this, which is crazy because we are a third world country, but we really need the theatre. And something I can give from my culture is that we don't wait, we just do, and then we see what we do with that. And I know here in Europe, it's like you have to ask for fundings, which is of course better in a way for artists in terms of money, but we are now in a moment of history, I think, that it will be harder to really solve it that way. So we have to think what we do in the meantime, what we do until this economical situation is this hard and everything. And I heard a lot of people are really talking about these things nowadays, like what artists do. Should we wait until we have a better economical situation, or should we do things anyway? And the reason, I mean, everyone has their own answers, I guess, but some of us do theatre because we feel like we need to do something. You know, we cannot wait. We just have to do something, and residencies are a great way to do so.